Raising a child in Singapore is already expensive, but when it comes to education, that's a whole different level. From preschool to university and even overseas studies, the costs can snowball quickly if you are not prepared. If you're wondering how much do I actually need to save and how do I even start, then this video is for you. Let's start with the basics and build up from there. Hi, I'm Fer from Dollar Bureau, a personal finance platform that talks about insurance, investments, and financial planning. In this video, you'll learn what education planning involves, why it matters for your children, and how much to budget whether they study locally or overseas. Step-by-step strategies to plan your savings, and the best saving and investing options to hit your goal. Let's break this down together step by step, starting with what education planning actually means. So, what is education planning? Education planning isn't just about choosing a good school, it's a structured financial plan that supports your child's learning journey from kindergarten all the way to university. At the heart of it, education planning involves three things. Number one, budgeting, understanding how much each stage of education will cost. Number two, saving, set aside money regularly to meet those future expenses. And number three, investing. Grow your money faster, especially if your timeline is long. Done right, it ensures your child never has to give up learning opportunities because of money. Why is education planning so important? Let's be real, quality education is one of the best gifts you can give your child, but it's also one of the most expensive. With university fees costing about $10,000 per year in 2025 and an education inflation rate of 2.86% between 2003 and 2023, the cost of sending your child to university gets very, very expensive. And this excludes kindergarten, primary school, secondary school, tertiary such as ITE, poly, or even JC fees. Not to mention that these are just fees. What about their daily allowances, stationery, textbooks, laptops? What if you want to send your child to tuition or extra classes? Without proper planning, you might end up struggling with sudden fees, taking on big loans, or sacrificing your own retirement savings just to help them out. Planning early means more time for your money to grow, less stress when those big tuition bills come in, and more freedom to give your child the best options, both academically and beyond. It's not just about grades, it's also about setting them up with the tools, confidence, and exposure they need to thrive. Okay, how much do you need for your child's education? Let's break down how much you'll need for your child's education if they are studying in Singapore first. So for preschool fees, it typically ranges between 300 to 1.5k per month depending on whether you go to a government or a private center. When it comes to primary school in government schools, the fees are relatively low, usually between $6 to $13 a month. And for secondary schools, the monthly fees are also affordable, ranging from $5 to $25 depending on the level and stream. If your child goes to polytechnic, then you're looking at about 2.9k per year for Singaporean citizens. And for local universities like NUS or NTU, the annual tuition fees range from 8k to 28k depending on the cost of study. Even if local schools are relatively affordable, enrichment, CCAs, tuition, uniforms, and other school materials can easily add up. And if you're thinking about overseas education, the numbers get even bigger. Now, if you are considering sending your child overseas for university, the cost can be significantly higher, especially when you factor in tuition, accommodation, living expenses. In Australia, annual tuition fees typically range from 18 to 41k depending on the course and university. For the UK, you can expect to pay between $30,000 to $42,000 a year in tuition fees, and in the United States, tuition costs vary widely from around $27,000 to $74,000 per year, depending on the institution and the program. And remember, that's just tuition fees. So your living expenses, your flights, your insurance can push these numbers much higher. But school fees don't stay the same year after year. Let's talk about the impact of inflation on future education costs. So you will need to project your education costs with inflation. Let's say your child is 5 years old now and starts university in 13 years. If tuition fees in university are $30,000 today and inflation is around 4% a year, by the time they enroll, it will cost closer to $49,000 per year. If you want to project the cost of education for your children, use tools like our Financial Toolkit. You just input the numbers of years left, expected cost of duration, and the education inflation rate, and it tells you how much you will need to save. Now that we've mapped out the costs, let's dive into how you can start planning for them effectively. Here's a step-by-step approach. Number one, will your child study locally or overseas? This decision massively impacts how much you'll need. Local education is cheaper and supported by grants, subsidies, and lower living costs, while overseas gives broader exposure but is also much more expensive. No right or wrong, just plan accordingly. Once that's clear, the next step is to dig into actual tuition costs so that you can start setting real goals. Number two, figure out current university tuition fees. Here's a benchmark for NUS and NTU. It's about $8,000 to $28,000 per year. Overseas, this could be anywhere between $30,000 to $70,000 a year. Don't forget to add enrichment costs, living expenses, and inflation. So once you have the numbers, it's time to look at the financial help you can get. And thankfully, Singapore has quite a few options. Number three, research all available grants and aid. So some key ones in Singapore are the Child Development Account or the CDA, where the government matches savings 1-for-1 up to a limit. Second one is the Edusave and PSEA scheme, which supports enrichment and post-secondary education. Number three is the tuition fee loan, which covers up to 90% of university fees for your child going to local universities. There's also the CPF Education Scheme, which uses your OA savings for tuition. And of course, there are Mendaki, SINDA, and CDAC, which are community-based bursaries and scholarships. And school-based aid. So many schools offer their own bursaries. So make sure to check directly with the school. Okay, so now let's see how to calculate the rest, right? So number four, calculate how much more you need to save. Let's say education will cost $300,000 in total and you've saved $50K and expect $30K in grants. You'll need to make up the difference of $220K. You divide this across the number of years you have left and get your monthly savings target. All this can be done using the Financial Toolkit. And to stay on top of these savings goals, having a clear budgeting system is key. So that leads us to step 5. Budget for it using tools like the Financial Toolkit. The cash flow dashboard lets you see where your money is going monthly. Cut back on non-essentials and allocate funds directly into your child's education savings. I personally use the 50-30-20 rule to track everything through my dashboard. If you're keen to get the Financial Toolkit, I've included a link to it in the description below. Once your budget is in place, the next decision is where to actually park your money. Should you save or should you invest? Okay, so if you have short-term education needs, you need to use savings as an option. So you can use the Child Development Account. You can use high-interest savings accounts from banks. You can use fixed deposits or short-term endowment plans. If you have long-term education goals, then consider investing instead, such as in long-term endowment plans, or even investing your money in equities, bonds, or a mixture of them both. Let's explore some of those options in more detail so you can pick the ones that suit your needs best. So firstly are endowment plans. These are long-term savings policies with guaranteed payouts. These are ideal for structured, disciplined savings, making sure that you consistently save for your child. These can also include bonuses from the participating funds, boosting your overall returns. They are great for parents who prefer predictability and want a set it and forget it approach. Of course, there are also the short-term endowment plans, which are usually about 2 to 3 year policies. These are great for boosting your money for short-term goals, and they are of lower commitment with a guaranteed payout when it matures. These are perfect if you want something short-term and don't want to lock up your money for too long. Of course, you can also get professional help if you prefer a personalized plan. We work with licensed independent financial advisors that are able to help you get help from over 17 insurers and multiple investment platforms. Perfect to find the right solution for yourself. They also help assess your situation and tailor a strategy that balances your savings, your investment goals, and we have collectively helped over 2,000 Singaporeans with their financial plans. Best part, consultations are free and there's a link in the description below to get started. And with that, let's wrap everything up. Education is one of the biggest financial commitments you'll make as a parent. But with a clear plan and a mix of saving and investing and smart budgeting, it's totally manageable. Start early, stay consistent, use the tools and help available to you. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share it with another parent and subscribe for more content like this. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.